All right, everybody, welcome back. Today, sitting here again with Steffon Pickney from DefTF, having another final conversation. How you doing today, bud?
I'm good, man. What's happening? How you doing?
I can't complain. Can't complain. Nice little
Don't do a
Monday.
bit of good.
Yeah, you know.
This lady, I work for the post office, guys,
hmm
and this lady I deliver mail to every day. Every time I hand her mail, like 80% of the time throughout the week, I say, "Hey, how you doing?" She's like, doing good. Don't worry about complaining because it ain't gonna do a bit of good for you." I'm
Mm,
like, "Yep,
damn.
keep
Mm,
playing. Don't
mm,
do a bit of good."
yeah, you're. That's true. That's true. Nah,
And that's what
she's.
I tell her every single time. It's just that same repetition. Yeah, you got me there. That's true.
Damn it. All right. Well, that's it. Podcast over. I'm not complaining about anything. uh,
Nobody's listening, so I
uh,
mean, you know.
that's fair. That's fair. So we had this pretty sweet event yesterday.
Yeah, I've
Another
been waiting all week for that event.
another giant shout out to PPG and their Pro Play Tour.
Yes, sir. George Machado, the main man, CEO.
Ooh, CEO sounds so professional.
Prestigious, right? I know.
Yeah, right. I want to be the CEO. Damn it.
I know. Right?
No, I don't. I take that back, Scott. You're the CEO. You can have it. I don't want to be
It's a lot of work. It felt like a
it.
lot of work.
So yeah, we were pretty excited about this. Me and you were talking about it, for weeks leading up, for sure.
Right.
And it kicked off the meta, right? It's pretty cool to think about that. It's pretty cool that these guys had the opportunity to, you know, take their first stab at it.
Can I say something?
Yeah, yeah.
I want to skip all the way to the end
Oh my
and
God,
say,
fairy tale endings.
well, okay, not the end. I'm sorry, but
Okay.
well, I guess the end, the finals.
Yeah.
What in the hell new quote unquote meta are we in? It was the same two decks in the finals.
Listen,
When I saw that,
I was
how that
gonna
panned out, I was like, really?
listen. I was gonna bring that up.
Seriously?
All right, you ruined my joke later.
Oh, did I? I'm so sorry.
No, it's
Cut this
fine.
part out.
No, it's
No,
fine. No.
okay.
Shockwave and Blaster. They're two new decks, right?
Yeah.
Are they meta yet?
No.
No, I don't think so. Only 24
Well,
people.
only four more people than the last one, so
Yeah.
still not enough to
No.
determine if two decks are meta or not. Well,
Damn it.
especially Shock.
Damn it. I guess
Yo,
we'll have to keep trying.
yep.
So yeah, we don't need to skip ahead that far, but Shockwave and Blaster.
Okay.
We'll skip ahead, but then we'll come back.
Okay.
So about an hour before the event, I hit you up. I'm like, "Yo, give me 3 bold predictions. What do you think's gonna be there?" And you hit me back immediately, and you were like, "Shockwave." I'm like, "Yeah, shit, no, whatever." What was your second one? Octane, right?
Yeah, Shockwave, Octane, whatever. And I forgot the third one to be honest with you.
Octone. Yeah, I don't remember this fucking name
I
either.
have to
I'd have to go back. It's fine. You said Shockwave Octane. I said Shockwave Blaster.
right.
We did pretty good. We did pretty good.
It's gonna bother me. I'm going back on our messages
All
now.
right, go ahead. It's gonna be a while. We talked a lot yesterday.
Yeah, god damn it.
Better than you than me. I don't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
But as a whole, what I liked about this one is that they ended up starting the stream at like 2 o'clock our time.
Oh, okay. I said stupid ass DE deck.
Oh, all right. So
So
that
Octone,
did
Shockwave, and Daring Escape.
right. So that didn't come in high numbers, but it was there and
Yeah,
it
yeah,
did
pretty well.
it did well. It did well. We'll talk about that a little more in depth. We'll save that one because
Thanks, Kent.
I'm sure we both have feelings about that. And yeah, thanks, Ken.
Yeah, going forward.
Um, so it started round two, and they streamed 2, 3, 4. Well, I think they skipped 4 somehow. Like I think the stream got messed up or something like that. I believe.
That and I knew it wasn't going to be consistent for every round because it still had other things going on, and
Yeah.
especially there were like what 4 or 5 different card games going. So
Yeah.
the top 8 we definitely could have expected to have at least one of each between quarterfinals, semifinals, and the
Yeah,
finals.
I was expecting it not to be on until like 6 o'clock at night. So
Yeah, right. Same.
when it came on at like 2, I was like, oh, like shit, like, it's already on. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we saw, I don't know, we saw a pretty big range of decks, on the stream all day. That it didn't seem like there was too many, doubles up until like the top 8, where we just saw Kai a couple times. But other than that, I don't really think we saw too many, of the same thing on stream. So that was
Right.
kind of cool. At least they got to kind of deliver all the information that they had, show everyone off, give everyone a little time. That's pretty fun.
Definitely.
Was there anything on stream yesterday that you kind of like you looked at? You're like, oh, okay. Like I didn't, I wasn't really expecting that.
I wasn't expecting the Octone deck. Shout out to that guy. I just talked to him a little while ago. What's his name? Brendan. Shout out to Mr. Brendan Holton. He top 8 at the event with Octone Flame War and a Nova Storm,
Yeah,
the new one.
the safeguard guy.
I was shocked with that 0 defense. I was shocked that it actually did well for him. I didn't think about. I mean, I looked at him and I kind of just dismissed him because of that 0 defense. I wish he had at least 1 defense, but that surprised me in a way. So I mean, that was cool to see. Ken's deck, my attention span could not focus on what he was doing. I was just assuming that he was just gonna go off and win.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. We'll talk about that later. Don't do that.
Yeah, okay. I'm about to say. It was cool to see the overwhelming advantage Shockwave deck.
Shout out to Eichenberg.
Yeah, Eichenberg. Yeah, he was talking about it, and then he ended up switching up some things from my deck profile, but that was definitely cool to see. It was unfortunate how that I think that was probably the coolest moment, but then unfortunate for him because I was rooting for Adam. And shout out to what's the other boy, Christian Young. He's cool too with that Springer deck. That Springer deck seems insane.
Springer deck was hot. I like the Springer deck a lot. I mean, that guy.
I have a blue version that is pretty cool too, but I mean his orange version was kind of sick.
Yeah, I think he got to like 24. Like,
yeah,
that's pretty good. I'm like all right, that's a nice number.
All the shockwaves, that's kind of upsetting. But that energy transfer, that key as energy transfer was clearly still the deal because he got the overwhelming advantage off, but Springer just happens to have 16 health.
Right. Well, he obviously we're talking about the top 8, so he had he had seen what was going on. He knew like, well, if I don't do this, my guy's gonna die. So
right.
Like
that was just crazy to see. It was like the energy transfer like just healed it all the way up, and then let the Springer live at 1, and then come back at him for 25 or whatever it was. Like that was crazy.
Seems okay. Yeah. I think the Springer deck was cool.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I kind of got to give props to Joel. Like the main deck turbo is, it's a bold main deck, but right. It mattered. It got him. It got him into the finals.
No blues. He specifically knew that he was playing that for the I say blue because when it dies, it caters to have flipping the orange and the blue.
Right. Action. So like to me that just speaks justice to the blaster deck in general that you can play a subpar 7-drop and still just get there. So I think definitely props to him for pulling that off all day. And the Octone deck was interesting. The Nova Star guy he's different. I could see a lot of different characters for that slot, but it's different. And then at the end of the day, we got to give the shout out to Kai, right? Took it home.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
When I saw him there, Tom Gem, how do you say his last name? Tom, sorry if I'm butchering your last name.
Mm-hmm.
Those two I was rooting for, kind of biased because they were playing Shockwave, but then those two I knew they were good players, especially Kai. I've been watching Kai since Gen Con.
Yep.
When he's been playing Shockwave as long as I have actually. So
yep.
Shout out to Kai for winning the event. Not surprised at all. Good player.
Yeah, good player. He the matchups kind of fell in his favor, so it definitely helped.
The fire not being fire drive really helped him out.
Yeah.
Right from the game. So
that's and now that we're kind of there, we can let's. What do you want to do? You want to do the finals first or do Daring Escape?
Let's get the annoying one up.
All right.
Let's get the one that we.
So, Daring Escape. How much did you know about Daring Escape going into the event?
I had 2 people show me 2 different deck lists and explain to me about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
That instead of, I assumed the deck played the specialist package and all that stuff, and it played like Captain Wheeljack's the one deck that was shown to me, and he actually posted it on Facebook too. I forgot what post it was, somewhere on Facebook a while ago. But yeah, so I assumed before seeing any deck list that it just played 3 Daring Escape, and throughout the course of the game you just Daring Escape. But then he showed me that deck list, and then you draw your entire deck in your hand and then just play Daring Escape once. Oh, that's kind of ridiculous.
Maybe twice.
So yeah. So already right then and there, like before I really tuned into Daring Escape, I already knew that I liked Caliburst a lot. So I wasn't really thinking too much about Turbo Board stopping him. I guess that was kind of obvious, but I will say I wasn't paying too much attention to him, but definitely tuned into Caliburst. And Hijack was already one of my favorite reveals from the spoilers, so I already knew that I'd be main decking between main deck and side deck having 3 total, and try to see it as quickly as possible
Yeah.
to so I can keep I can fight back so they don't do the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And then what about you?
So for me, I've been on the deck for a couple weeks now.
Okay.
And I'm honestly shocked that more people didn't try to play it, even with it kind of getting all the limelight the last couple days.
I agree.
The deck's pretty strong as a whole, and kind of as you've seen on camera. I'm not sure how much you were following at the time, but the Calibers isn't even that great of an answer to it because he main decked defensive drivings, which is, I mean, it's a bold main deck for him, but I guess he knew the deck was going to be on high alert, so he just main decked them rather than
countering the counter. That's pretty smart.
Yeah, he just main decked them. I mean, it fits perfectly. It's a white, which you need to red heat, so like. It was just a good main deck call, and I'm sure he beat up on Calibers all day. I mean, he went undefeated in Swiss, so like the Calibers didn't matter. The only game he lost is against Turbo Board, which just doesn't shock me at all. I mean, he to this day, I've been playing with the deck for about 3-4 weeks now, and it's like I don't think there is a consistent way to beat Turbo Board. Can you beat it? Yes, you can. And Kent wrote a whole Facebook post about how you can win on their turn and stuff like that. All those things are true. But it's like the consistency factor to try and win on their turn is like so much more high probability than to just do it when you want to.
And you're going to need a lot more than 50 minutes to do all that.
It depends on how much you play the deck. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can get into like a rhythm, so like where where you have to get, and you can just kind of just go there. It's definitely more difficult on the opponent's turn because you don't have as much free reign with your triggers and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's harder to play things in general, but it's one of those decks that a shout out to Dark Confidence. He posted an article about it last week, and he kind of gave his list, and that was one list, and then Kent's list is something else, and then I legitimately think there might be 2 or 3 other versions of this deck, so there might be 5 versions of this deck out there. You kind of saw it from Joe from Wreck and Roll a couple of weeks ago with his Cars deck. That was a slower version, but it was still a version of this deck. So like, the scary thing about it to me is the amount of different ways you can actually make this card work. Mm-hmm. But I was honestly shocked that some of the top 8 decks just ignored it. And I guess it was fine because there was only one of them there. But he beat all those guys probably. So
Right.
like
hacks, like people, like anybody on the Facebook group really needs to stay in tune with that because it's so degenerate. Similar to what Scott said on the Tech Talk, like just the non-interaction.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is like, okay, daring escape. I think either Vin or Scott mentioned it. Daring escape. If the Autobots are running away from the Decepticons, how do you consider that a win?
I would never live to fight another day. Live to fight another day. That's a win. That's a win.
Breathing. No.
Yep.
Not the match. Like I felt like that card should. That just kills me. I'm sorry. I'm thinking in street terms. If I'm with 3 of my guys and we're fighting against 6 guys and we run, we didn't win because we didn't win that fight.
But you didn't lose.
But you're still breathing, I guess.
No, I agree. It's a stupid concept.
Well, my biggest thing about this entire whole, if it's going to be addressed before PAX, or they're just going to let's rock with it and force us all to fit. Like, it makes me rethink playing Shockwave, no lie, because if I'm playing a 6 and a 5, like I was planning on doing, spoiler alert, if I was playing a 6 and a 5, like I was planning on doing, if Turbo Board is legit the only way, that throws off my whole scheme. I can't play a 7 and a 5. I have to
play a 7 and a 4.
And a 7 and 4-star cards, and I'm not really, you know what I mean? If I do that, I'm just saying.
Oh no, I'm saying you could go to a 7 and a 4 in your deck
just
though.
Main deck Turbo. Yeah, I guess I could just do that.
No, you don't have to main deck them. You could like just go back and like play like a Hot Rod or something like that, like as an example.
Oh yes, okay, yeah, or that. Yeah.
So like you can do that, but like that's not what you want to do, right? Like that doesn't fit your mold of your deck.
So whack.
Which is the point, and it's the same thing with many different decks. all of these 14 or higher star characters, like like the Jetfire list that was actually on stream with him, like he was just a too tall, and he didn't even sideboard turbo. He just said, I'm gonna just solo Jetfire and see what happens, and he won game two because of it.
What was the part? What was the point of that? I remember you trying to explain it to me because I didn't understand.
It's just a matter. It takes turns away from him because like you take a whole attack away, so you just attack, and now he has to just all out attack you, and it puts a bunch of cards in his scrap pile, so where he basically has limited resources to work with and limited time to work with because he's only getting one act. If you don't have turbo board, like I don't know what his board character was. I don't think he made top 8, so maybe he did. I forget. But
I think he did. He did.
I think he did. Yeah, I think he did too. I forgot to look what it was, but he he was just like, well, I'm just gonna make him beat me this way, and it was the right thing to do. Like if you don't have turbo board and you can make that route, it's not a terrible decision. So
right.
I mean, props to him for coming up with it.
If I was at spur of the moment, I would have never done that. Because first of all, I didn't even know you could take out a character and just leave it.
You said that to me.
That's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
So I think I wouldn't have done it solely off of that, but seeing that definitely took note. So for the future.
Yeah, it's just it's a shame because like I don't hate combo decks and I don't dislike them, and I'm actually pretty okay with them in general. It's just the fact that this deck, like if you saw the 2 games he won because he PTT'd on his first turn, and then he just wins the game, and it's like
every time I looked at the screen, I saw a piece of tyranny in the middle of the
field,
field, so
and it's like that's the problem, is that like if your opponent may not even be able to play a battle card and you can just win the game, that's not fun. It's just like
that's not how this game was built. The box is supposed to be doing the winning, not.
There's just not like. I don't know. Like I said, and the cool thing about the card is that many different characters can play it and can do it effectively. The crappy thing is that it also limits the amount of characters players can play against it, and that's like the biggest thing. Like Scott and I have said it a million times, and like we've all said it, like we all thought Press the Advantage was like this horrible, awful card. It's like, no, people still play Decepticons,
Right.
This one, it's like, do I have a 7-star in my sideboard that's named Turbo Board? No, I'm gonna lose that deck. Like it's just, it's really crappy.
And then that's the other thing. So you side deck or main deck Turbo Board, then you don't run at all for the entire event, and it's like,
I mean it's one of those. I mean, like
that chance you take.
I know you've heard me say this, and I know everyone else is. For me, it is one of the situations like pick what you want to lose to. I don't want to lose to that deck, so I can tell you that much. Like. Chances are, whatever I'm playing at Energon is gonna have turbo board in the sideboard. That's just me. I'm not gonna lose that deck. I'm just not going to.
Now I got questions. One's part separately. So the first question: what part of the deck do you think, if WTC addresses it, what part of the deck do you think is going to get hit? The daring itself, equipment enthusiast was a big one, or what?
So. Daring Escape itself, it's one of those things, like, I think the deck can exist if your opponent has more time and more answers. My biggest issue right now is that I don't think battle cards are good enough. I don't think there's any battle card in the game that's good enough, because, like, you might not have a chance to play your battle card. So that's why, from ground zero, I don't even want to hear that a battle card is an answer when we literally watched him go, I'll PTT on my first turn, and then I'll win the game, and you didn't get to play a battle card. So...
Right.
It's one of those, to me, where, we've already seen PTT be so abusive in so many different things that even with the fix, it's still kind of an earth-shattering play. I wouldn't hate to see PTT get the ban, but it won't. So I'm not going to count on that. The second thing is
real quick side note: do you make that deck go first if you win the dice roll? You make that deck go first, right? So you can try to draw Jack or whatever to try to prolong them doing this insane combo.
It really, really depends on what your makeup is. If you don't have turbo board, then you have to make them go first and hope that you can get an answer on turn 1.
Right, okay.
That's the only way to do it. Like whether it's jam signals, whether it's hijack, whether it's an espionage. Like any of these things can like attempt to buy you a turn, but there's no guarantee, And then like that's the worst part though, is if they're gonna win game 1 and you sideboard all these things game 2, then they're just like, whatever, we'll just go to game 3. You go first, Like they can just do
Right.
that, and it's like, well, that's really shitty. I'm not gonna get to play a battle card. So
Yeah.
since I don't think they're gonna ban PTT, um, I can see a lot of reasons why Brainstorm is thought to be an issue. To me, at the end of the day, I think Brainstorm it's the catalyst, but it's also quite innocent. You know, it's abusive in this deck, but it's not. I don't think it's bannable by any means. I think you can keep that card so other players can use it in other situations. Um, and
Yeah,
I know,
Captain Wheeljack doesn't become just straight ass.
right? I mean, it's fine. I don't like. I understand why Brainstorm is the catalyst, and it's definitely a huge problem. But it's to me, if you're not talking about this deck, then Brainstorm is mostly unplayable. So it's like it's not fair to it gets banned just because of this. And I'm never in favor of banning the support cards anyway. I'd rather just ban the actual card. But if it all comes down to it, I think it has to be Equipment Enthusiast at the end of the day. It's just the fact that card itself represents like a fourth of your deck almost. You know, like you saw him yesterday on stream, he was drawing 8 or 9 cards. That's
Yeah,
that's
ridiculous.
that's just a fourth of your deck that you're removing from the equation to win with Daring Escape. So if you take that away and you force them to just win with, you know, the universal network systems of the drawing the 3 cards and the intelligence missions, you can't win that fast. It's not possible. Like, so there's no way you can draw that many cards and keep playing that many cards, especially with the change to where you can't just buy any star card out of your remove from game. It has to be in your sideboard now, and you can't play more than 3 Leap of Faith. So like, if you get rid of Equipment Enthusiasts, this deck can probably exist and it won't win as easy, and there'll be a lot more answers to it.
Okay.
So I think Equipment Enthusiast is the right call.
Copy that.
So, but yeah, that deck sucks.
So when it's side decks, how big of a deal? Because it's not like it plays well. The version I've seen, or even the one that Dark Confidence posted, like
Yeah.
it's not like siding Ion Blaster and stuff, but it is siding a Nobles Blaster or whatever. So when you side into Big Optimus, how big of a deal is it that you went to Big Optimus? The fact that your turbo board is now dead, or that just Big Optimus is that good that he'll still just beat you on his own? Because the whole deck's makeup isn't to the whole deck's makeup is to still draw. It's not to really.
I'm personally inclined to believe any of that stuff is true. So I'm not going to hate on the article, or I'm not going to hate on the information, but
Well, I'm saying in general, because I mean,
I don't think it's good enough. And
he sides in the Nemesis, like, is that actually going to do much?
No, it's he loses the turbo board. That's the answer. Like it's this false sense of false sense of assurance that, oh, if my opponent goes in the turbo board, their deck is weaker, so I can just play this big dude and I can probably still win. You just said it all right there. I can probably still win. If you're playing against an orange deck that can still beat the shit out of you, it doesn't matter if their 7-drop is turbo board, because they can still beat the shit out of you. So, you know, I think it's a false sense of a dream where, you know, you're just like, oh, I'm just this big 8-attacker guy. It's fine. Now, like in Kent's version where he has Cog, and if you could sideboard into Cog and Optimus and still kind of like force him to kill your Cog and your dude's like a 12 attacker, yeah, maybe we can talk about that. But that's not even what Kent was doing, I think. So I don't know. Like the problem is the moment that deck can transform correctly and compete with the turbo board sideboards, then something has to be done, because then the deck's unstoppable. So like, I'm inclined to believe that any of these options aren't good enough still against most of the field. That's my opinion, because it's like the moment that it's just like, well, I'm just gonna sideboard into one giant dude and then just beat you with that giant dude, then there's a whole other problem already, because now it's like, well, I board a turbo board and he just boards out of it and then I just lose because of the way the rules work. There's like, oh, like, because I won the game, I have to present first, so I just present turbo board and he goes, okay, I present my giant dude and then I just kill your guys. Like, so it's definitely not that simple. Like, he still has to flip oranges and still has to flip blues for his guy to live against like the orange matchups. Against the blue or control matchups, maybe, you know, his guy has 8 attack, it's gonna get in there from time to time for like a 10 or something like that, and you're gonna defend, you know, 4 or 5 of it, but he's gonna be able to pick your guys off slowly but shortly, you know.
Yeah.
But I think it's against the orange matchups, I don't think it's good enough. Like, they're still just gonna be able to grenade launcher, reckless charge, and smack you for half your health. So you have to be able to one-shot their guys, and you can't. So it's like, so that's kind of where I'm at. I think it's a false sense that it's a good plan. It's probably their only plan, which is kind of why the information is there.
Not the avenue to go. Yeah.
But that's about it to me. It's definitely not like, oh, I do this and then I win the game. Like, it's not that simple. So that's my thought. Anyway, back to the finals.
Anyway, yeah.
So the finals, I'm a little confused about something, and I want to get your opinion on it. Why do you think Joel sideboarded RC?
Well, right out the gate, RC's the bane of blue decks.
All right. Did you watch the finals?
I noticed that he never flipped her.
Right.
And because you just don't have time, so that was the biggest thing. And I was like, oh, well,
right.
And it was probably no offense to him, but it was probably untested. And then he was like, oh.
I don't know if it was untested or not, to be honest.
I think it was.
But
I'm calling it out.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just watching him play these games with RC, and I was just very confused. Attacking with Blaster for 0, I can't imagine that's good. I just can't.
And then I wonder, did he put in 2 star cards because he has 2 extra stars?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Amount of missiles, probably. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was amount of missiles. But and then like the other game, he still never ends up flipping RC, and he just daring escapes her or something like that. And I'm like, well, for all that, why don't we just play 3 daring escapes and just play a bot that matters? I don't know. Like I just didn't get it. Like it's like the one thing that stuck out to me that I'm like, why did he play RC? Like this character requires you to flip, and you don't have any time to flip. I don't get it.
Well, there's an even cooler one to talk about, but we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But I think that his deck needed to escape route, if anything, so he could cheat the flip, not cheat, but get the flip with her blaster. Like
that's fine.
RC, if anything,
that's fine.
I agree.
But yeah, I like I said, I mean, props to him. He, like I said, once again, he made Blaster all the way to the finals with a main deck turbo board.
Right.
Awesome. But the sideboard is where I'm questioning. It's like, man, what did that RC really do for you all day? Like if you just look at it in that matchup where he just doesn't have any time to flip, it's like, how is it any different than in any other matchup? Like that's just where I'm confused about. I would have just went with some guy with like Pierce built in already. I don't know, like, if that's what you were trying to do.
Exactly.
So I don't know.
I mean, so we're like bouncing around here because I want to go back.
Okay. Okay.
But the Lord Megatron deck.
Oh, okay. All right.
Jesus, if you're ever listening to this, if you happen to be listening to this, I have to talk to you. You went through the entire tournament without grenade launcher.
Hey.
And I applaud you for that because that's crazy. Like his Lord Megatron deck plays 0 weapons. I'm going to look at it again, but it played not 1 weapon.
He didn't want to lose the sabotage armaments.
No, I lie. Okay, he sturdy javelin and 2 enforcement batons.
All right, he didn't want to lose to sabotage armaments.
That's legit. I mean, composite armor is kind of a weapon, especially not kind of. It pretty much is a weapon for Demolisher.
Yeah.
So, but I was just shocked to see that. And then like when he sided into Ironhide, so you lose the Matrix leadership value, and he non-flippable 4-bull 1, like not a tank. So I was hitting every avenue.
Yeah, but, I don't. That was another one like that just felt like an easy turbo board to me. Like if you're gonna play a 7, I just would have been like, I'm just gonna board turbo board so I can be
prepared for
beat combo. That's where I would have been like, all right, well, I mean, like, it's hard for me to judge the deck. Like I've never played a single game with that with that deck. I'm
not knocking him at all.
No, I know.
I'm just right. Like, I want to talk to him. Like, how did he come to that conclusion?
I don't know. It's a different one. Sabotage armaments is a card, but it doesn't mean that it's a card that I'm not going to play grenade launcher for. Right. So there's that.
Like I was talking to you about off this, prior to the recording.
Yeah.
Hunker down grenade launcher is a new thing now. Like especially for Demolisher or just
in general. You're hunkered down your composite armor and move on. Yeah.
Yeah, like. Pretty sick.
It's not bad. So, Hunker Down's always been a good card. There just hasn't been any good tanks.
Thanks, composite armor. Yeah, and impactor.
Yeah, they helped. They got some help.
Mhm.
But yeah,
I love that
the
deck. I finally built it. My Megatron came in the mail a couple days ago. That was one of my favorite decks to build from the set. Of course, I got 2 cases and got the same. I mean, I'm blessed to have gotten 3 super rares in each case, but it was the same 3 super rares. And I'm like, really? Damn it! Still got 2 cases. I still got to go buy a Megatron. Okay, but yeah, I love that deck.
can't win them all.
Nope.
Um,
Hey, speaking of that, I said I wanted the top 8 or better every major event this year, and I failed because I didn't go to Dallas. I just realized that.
it's okay. It's okay.
I was thinking about that. I woke up this morning thinking about that. Damn.
It's all right. You can't win them all.
Nope.
And you can't
When you said
play them all. Like,
well, I contemplated going, but I was like, nah, it's not worth it for 2 boxes. Once we once the game grows, I'll definitely be traveling more. So
yeah, I hear you. So back to the finals, since you keep jumping around on me.
sorry, but we had to get that out the way.
I know. So Kai,
that was an important part of the PPT.
That's fair. So Kai actually addressed it. We were talking about it immediately, the gyro on the sparring gear play, and I just want to say something to Kai. Kai, you didn't need to address this. All right, you just won the fucking tournament. All right, you didn't need to address this. Shit happens. Like, shit happens.
Well,
if he had lost the event, if he had lost it because of it, all right, but.
To be fair, I've had myself in that position before, but on purpose, like but then I knew that I had to play it that turn, but I also had sturdy armor, so then the sturdy armor was going to replace the sparring gear to have value, have 4 defense or whatever.
Right. And to me, like I said, the only thing that I really didn't like about the play was that he was behind in attack damage. That's where I was. So it's like, I understand like your idea, like you're going to take away the tough, but the problem is that he had weapons and you didn't. So it's like you're already net negative 2 or 3 anyway, and you were behind on damage on top of that. So like he basically just killed himself. Like it was just like it was like, I'm just gonna suicide my shockwave because I don't have anything going on. So like that was my only problem with the play. Like to me, it's like he could have tried to like get another turn or 2 out of the armor to try and make up the difference. So like he could have maybe hit in for 2 or 3 damage twice, or something like that, and then he could have gyroed for the win. That's kind of where my brain went. That's all.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So, but it's a weird card. I definitely think it's a good card. It's I don't think there's anything wrong with him playing the card. I think a lot of people were just like, oh, why is he playing Gyro Blaster? That card's still good. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It still shuts down a lot of stuff. Like
say,
we just talked about Demolisher, right? Yeah.
Right.
Sweet card.
Exactly. I will say. New format, new cards, but I felt like there weren't enough new cards.
Yeah,
nothing changed. I honestly felt like the black icons were really going to come into effect. With the way I'm building some decks, a lot of them are like black, and maybe I'm just wrong. But to be honest with you, I feel like the format starting out. The reason why I go to that avenue is because the format seems like it's going to start off blue. It seems that way.
Sure.
For in my head, like to be honest with you, I've built 5 blue decks, and the first orange deck I've built was the the tank deck.
Yeah.
Like, everything's been blue so far, and I'm already a blue player at heart anyway.
Yeah.
I gravitate to blue. So that is just. I felt like the black icons would come into play to an effect a lot more, and they didn't. But that was just one event.
I actually said this to Scott today. Like I was looking, and I was just like, there just wasn't a lot of Siege 2 cards. Like, and I just didn't really understand that because.
It was like the main obvious ones, and then that's it.
If you ask me, this set's really powerful. So it's like either people were maybe like a little, I don't know, on the fence about which cards were good enough, and maybe they were just comfortable with what they had. It's definitely tough to navigate a new meta, especially going into the unknown. So I'm not going to take anything like that away. But it's one of those things where like I felt there were certain decks that just had missing key cards. I'm just like, why not have this card? I don't know. It was weird. I do agree to that though. It felt that Siege 2 was not represented very well at all. Other than the cool Springer deck, and the Daring Escape deck.
I agree.
It felt.
It's kind of like if it ain't broke, don't fix it type thing. Just because there's new cards, don't mean you got to play them. But at the same time, I feel like there was some more to be played.
Right.
Like reprocess. I didn't see not one reprocess.
I
think that card's great.
I mean, I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. The card's great. It's like I don't.
Yeah.
Why not play that card? It's weird, you know.
So
And
it's
there was a couple. You know, there's I think even Kai's deck only had two sabotaged armaments and one hidden fortifications or something like that. Like it was super low on the secret action side. And I'm just like, I don't know, those cards are pretty good. I don't know why I don't have more of those.
Or in no terrifying resilience. I'm also shocked
Right?
at that.
Yeah, yeah. It's a
Way off the top.
Decepticon armor.
Yeah.
He gets the play, and it's orange,
Yeah.
and like you said, it's a black. All right, cool. It seems like a fine card for me, you know. So
And again, before anybody thinks I'm
right.
anybody,
No.
this is just the surprise, and this is the analyzation of what my thoughts of what were of the tournament. So.
Yeah, I agree. It's like I said, it felt that it was underrepresented. Like the Siege 2 was underrepresented. That's definitely what it felt like to me also. Was there I don't know, was there anything like just anything else that like, really stuck out to you about Pro Play?
The tank thing was the tank deck list was the biggest one to me.
Okay.
So there's nothing. I mean, you say anything else, not really. Like the tank one is what took me in awe the most.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, I think the Springer deck just to like actually see it play out and hit that insane number was just like, okay.
Seems like he's doing it better than Grimlock ever.
I'm like 24. That's pretty good. Like, all right.
Yeah. My version plays Fire Drive as well, but with Red Alert and it's blue.
Yeah.
But seeing the orange,
but it doesn't hit 24s. I can tell you that much.
It does not. You can hit like 15, 16-ish. But
that's
not
cool.
24.
That's cool.
Yeah.
24 is cooler, but I get you.
Yeah. Oh no, it is. I think he also play Steamroll, so he's just like kind of just really.
You know what? I didn't actually go over his list completely, but it would make sense if you're hitting those type of numbers that you would play Steamroll. So
for sure.
Not to mention Springer's natural effect of getting the extra action and upgrade. Like you could easily kind of play Steamroll type thing. So
right,
I could see it.
It was funny about that deck. We're talking about Fire Drive and Springer. We forget about little old cassette Steeljaw. And he still hits hard himself. And then, oh, by the way, if he's still alive, he passes Bold 1 to to Springer. So.
Which is weird. Like it's really like interesting. Like because even Kent had the eject, and like I remember like when the game started for Kent's round, I looked. I'm like, what the hell is that? Like I didn't know what it was. Like, and we'll go back to Joel too. Like when Joel plopped out Frenzy, I was like, what the hell does that one do? I'm like, pull out my phone, go to the Transformers app, look up Frenzy. I didn't know what it did. And I had like, hey.
Yeah.
So, more props.
Only reason why I know what that one did is because Wads was using that on me. Local store playing some games. It was kind of annoying. Someone all set up with my tough, and then he goes to attack with that one first and turn off my tough. And I'm like, and then heat of battle. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's really good because you get your bold and I don't get my tough. Not cool.
Sick combo. Yeah. I mean, it had to work for him at some point on the day, like it's
right.
And some point during cause like I can see where the card's good, so it doesn't shock me at all. It's definitely something that would definitely catch people,
Yes.
So
with the format going blue, with all the tough coming back into play, especially like hit of fortification and stuff, I mean, he's actually probably going to be good. Yeah. And see a lot more play. So
it's just like it's also just like a turn where like it's like an extra turn to not have bashing shield. You're like, oh, I don't care about your armor this turn. I'll just turn off your tough, and then who gives a shit? That's sparring gear. That sparring gear is trash.
But in every other case, though, speaking of hidden fortifications, just kind of a random thought. I do like that you're not hard pressed to have your armor and hope they don't have bashing shield or try to get rid of it. You can like play a weapon and then hit a fortification, which is also pretty much your body armor, quote unquote, for the turn. Which I'm just happy about little things like that.
Yeah, I agree. It's some of the cards, like the armaments and like the hidden fortification, they presented ways for blues to defend that, in my opinion, they desperately needed. So
yes.
It's very nice to see those types of cards. I mean, because we've seen these cards in, at the end of the day, in orange since Supercharged, realistically, So, like, blue just never had these types of cards. So, like, to have these cards and to have them be undisputable, in theory, outside of, like, the Frenzies and the Gyroblasters of the world.
Right.
It's very fun to see that kind of take a turn, and the blue side gets some of those cards.
I agree. I'm a little shocked to like in terms of cards for the set. I'm a little shocked I didn't see any cards that says scrapping a enemy's secret action or anything like that. like kind of pop it before
I think it's a
Well,
little
I don't know,
early.
that's a good deal. Yeah, I guess so.
I think it's early. I think you want
I
to give
expected it.
them. I think you want to give them some time.
Yeah,
Like you get 2 sets of it. Maybe that's next set. Like all
right.
right. Like we got 6 months of doing this. Great. And then
Along with some really broken secret action, is like, okay, yeah, we need something to get rid of
right,
the.
right. I just think for now, I think it's something they definitely want it to be a part of the game. So it's pretty cool to just have them untouchable. I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
definitely. And like I said, Blue needs it. They've never been able to start off a format till now, so potentially start off a format. I'll say that.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I think it's kind of all over the place. And I think yesterday was a good representation of that. You had 2 blue control decks. You had 3 or 4 3 wide orange decks, and then you had the 4 wide blaster, and then the combo deck. So like you saw kind of like a giant idea of what the meta could shape up to look like in that way. And granted, it's only 24 players in the room, but it still showed how versatile the whole meta was with 24 people. So.
And speaking of that, I mean, so like bouncing around with my comment, we got things like Sturdy Javelin, so the range package gets more power,
Yep.
and a lot more range characters in general.
Yep.
Which makes me think goes back to like I personally think bugs are gonna suck coming up, because if you got all these heavy blue decks with these range cards and things like that, I feel like the deck's just not gonna be able to survive like it used to. But then in the same sense, I'm just shocked in general the bugs didn't just come out. Like people are like, oh, I'm gonna pick up bugs. Maybe, and this is I'm more happy than anybody about this. Maybe people are just like, oh, there's so many new cards. Let me go play something else besides, good old bugs. But then I feel like, who am I kidding? Like you said, there's only 24 players. Packs is just going to be flooded with the bugs again.
I don't know. I still feel like.
So I'm on the fence. We'll see.
I feel like Blaster has. I'm not saying it's replaced bugs all in all. I just feel that people have gravitated more towards Blaster.
Thank God, and I don't know why I'm happy about that. When it's
I wouldn't be happy. It's worse, but
but I am for some weird ass reason. I mean, because they got help with that medic field card, another force field for Ramhorn.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems really annoying, but I don't know why I'm happy about that. I just am.
I'm just not.
You know my history with bugs.
Yeah.
First time I met you, I don't even know how we're friends. Like first time I met you, you're playing fucking bugs. Like
I know. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. That was like a lifetime ago.
I'll never forget it. It's just like double prime versus bugs.
You just hold grudges.
No, nah, man, we cool, bro.
All right.
I just have a thing against bugs.
That's fair.
Not really. It's all good.
Whatever. So, in closing on Pro Play Tour Dallas, once again, congrats to Kai. Congrats to them. I think it looks to me they ran a good event. Everything on Facebook shined towards them running another good event, so I'm glad to hear all those things. Thanks again to George for running them. It's awesome.
Next up is Las Vegas. So anybody around Las Vegas, Cali, Vegas, Colorado, definitely come through and support.
I'll tell you what, I don't really know too many players in that area, so I'll actually be pretty interested to see how that does.
Well, I expect Kevin Allen to go because he's in Vegas or somewhere around that.
He's
area.
in San Francisco.
I could have sworn he went to a tournament in Vegas. I knew he played. So he mentioned about playing. That's the whole reason why he played Red Alert, because he played a chick in Vegas and she kicked his ass with it. Blah blah blah.
Oh, okay.
So I expect him to be there because he's been there before.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know he's out in San Francisco because when I was out in San Francisco, like in April, I played games with him in a random shop in San Francisco.
Oh, nice.
So cool. So he definitely lives in San Francisco.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just remember the thing with Vegas, but.
Yeah.
For sure.
But with the end of that event, are you even ready for this, bro? Are you ready for Energon?
Yes.
That's cool. That's good. Good to hear.
Outside of the Daring Escape deck, yeah.
That's good. That's good to hear.
I'm honestly like, who
are you?
I'm probably playing Shockwave.
Are you slightly shocked of pun intended at this point, that it's kind of already here?
No, honestly, I don't know. It's like getting closer and closer. I can smell it. I'm not shocked. I don't know. Like a while ago, obviously I was thinking, but no, I'm not. I'm like honestly ready to kind of get in there. I don't want to say get it over with, but I want to see how ruling. There's going to be like different levels of stress for everybody that really cares to win.
Yeah.
2 rounds to start. You need to be 2-0 to even like really feel good about yourself. You really
Yeah,
need to be 2-0. Being 1-1 is not acceptable because
it's not
going into
acceptable with a round one loss. It's gonna be really tough. But yeah,
or even especially losing the first round. I mean, let
yeah,
alone the second round.
yeah.
But yeah, so you need to go in 2-0 because what I'm going to talk about in one of my future videos. So yeah, you got round 3, 4, and 5 that are all sealed. Like I said, I was telling you off before the recording. I've done it 2 times with my girlfriends. I've done it 2 times at the shop, and half of those I pulled, good, decent, and half of those I pulled kind of just all over the place, and I had to kind of make do with what I had.
Right.
I really hope I'm on that first end because there's still that chance of them not pulling as good, and if you lose one of those rounds, you're out. And I'm really hoping. Oh, two things I kind of want in conjunction. So it's only cut the top 8, but they're really a lot of luck is going to be brought into the tournaments. The skill is kind of, I don't want to say out the window, but it's going to be really tough. It's going to be really I don't know the word I want to use, randomized in terms of the players that get into the top 8.
Yeah.
I say it like that. I think that's the best way to put it, because you could be the best player, quote unquote, in the game, and those 3 sealed rounds can just screw you. And that's my personal opinion.
I'm not even sure it's just those 3 sealed rounds, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but you just lose one. What you say? You had to go 8-0-1,
I
8-1.
I think at best it's going to be 7-1-1. I'm not positive. Like, it's going to depend how many people actually come.
And that's the first thing. See how many people actually get there.
So to start off, I'll be intrigued to see how many people come to Philly.
Yes.
I hope you all do. I don't care how big it is. I just want it to be successful and be awesome. But if it's like I said, if it's like 120 people, then you're gonna have to be perfect. Like it's really that simple. Like you're not gonna have much leeway whatsoever, which is scary.
Yeah.
It's very, very scary to think about that.
Yeah, I'm adapting coming from Yu-Gi-Oh. We never done anything like this, and apparently when I first heard about this, I did not know that Magic as well did things like this. So it's just the realm of WTC and how they do things. Yeah. So I have no choice, first of all, to adapt to it, and I'm just gonna get used to it. But it's still this my popping my cherry. It's my first time getting into this, and it's like
I don't know, I respect that idea that it's like, the best 8 people get in. But my biggest thing at the end of the day, once again, is that the difference between Magic and Transformers is information. It's that simple. Yes. In Magic, there's an endless stream of information posted everywhere every week because there's a tournament every week, and that tournament is 2,000 people every week. So that's just what it is. Like, that's how big Magic is. So it's like,
no, I understand.
So it's not
just thinking about that. Like, geez,
it's not. Yeah, exactly. Like, no wonder why we don't play Magic. But it's one of those. It's like, it's tough because in my opinion, where I'm at right now in testing and stuff like that, it's like, no matter what deck you decide to bring, you're gonna lose to something. Like, there's so it's like,
that's why I say I'm ready, because there's not too much more I can do.
Right. So like, you've already picked your you picked your battle, and you're like, I'm just gonna lose to this. I'm gonna move on with life, and that's fine, because like that, I've been saying this forever. Choose what you want to lose to, because that's just the way it's gonna be. Like, if you don't think that this deck's gonna show up, then you're like, well, I'm gonna lose to that, and if it doesn't show up, great. And if it does, I'm gonna have a bad day. Like, and that's just that's kind of what it is. Now, the difference between that opinion that I have and the new one that I'm about to say is that most of that opinion is contingent on not having Daring Escape in the format, because Daring Escape deck in the format puts a kink in all of it, because in my opinion it just limits your sideboard in a very negative way, and it's just like, it sucks, because I just feel like it takes a lot of building options out the window, because you're so forced to be like, well, I'm going to lose this matchup because I'm just bad against that matchup, and I'm going to lose against combo because, like, I don't have turbo board. So it's like, it's really, really tough to be like, I literally have to choose between giving myself a shot to win a tight matchup, or playing this card and just hoping that it's a total 180 spin on the format. And, like, to me, that just sucks. It's just that I'm not a fan of being in that position.
No, absolutely not.
Oh.
The other thing I want to talk about real quick. I thought my computer just shut off. I was gonna say nice.
No.
Nice. It just went black, like completely black. So payout.
Yeah.
Payout is from top 8 to top 32. So I'm assuming once they post the final standings after round 9.
Yeah.
9th through 32nd will just get paid out wherever they stand.
Right.
call it a day.
Yeah.
And then obviously 1st through 8th will be paid out based off of when you finally lose or whatever.
Yeah. It'll be. I mean, that's.
Well, I guess 3rd and 4th place, you got to actually play those out. If you lose in top 4, you got to play again the other person that lost in their top 4.
No, I think it's the same price.
Or is it the same thing?
I think it's the same thing. Yeah. Well, they don't get to play out like that. I think it's the same thing. But yeah, it's just really tough. You know, it's I don't want to say it's better to be lucky than good completely type thing, because I still think
need some of both. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, you're gonna need to be good. You're gonna need to almost play perfect all day without mistakes, and you're definitely gonna need to get lucky, because if you're running into that bad matchup 2-3 times, that could be your event. So it's.
That's it.
And like I'm not as worried about the sealed thing, because at the end of the day, it's all random. It's. You can't control it, so it's
No.
if let's put it this way, if I feel that I don't do as good as I expect myself to do because of my sealed pool, then I can't really be too mad about it. It's like, well, that's just what happened. It's right. If I go 7-0 and construct it, or if I go 6-0 and construct it, and I finish the event 6-3, all right, I did the best I could do to prepare for this event, but it just didn't work out. So it's like, that's how I feel about it. It's like there's enough good cards that are common, uncommons, that you're not worried about having to open a bomb rare. You're not worried about having to open a bomb super rare. Like, you're not worried about those things because there's so many good cards at the common and uncommon slot that it's fine. So that's where I think it teeters, is that, like, at the end of the day, it's like it's very, very hard to get a pool that's like that terrible. It's like, and if you get that pool, I'm sorry, like, that sucks, but it's like, what are you gonna do? You can't fight it,
Brother, man, I like the way you think, man. I hope people actually listen to you because you spit some knowledge. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's so tough to be mad about that stuff. It's out of your control. Like, you can be mad that you start the tournament 0-2. Be mad, because that means you weren't prepared, or you got incredibly unlucky there. But, like, don't be mad if you don't get a good seal pull and you go 1-2 and, like, that might be your tournament. Like, that's just going to be the difference of the tournament, unfortunately. Like, I do think there's a fair amount of play skill involved in the limited format with sequencing, and even, like you said it before, like, there's certain cards that you didn't think about playing in your seal pulls that you've started with that now you're like, man, I should have played that card. But, like, that's going to happen. People are going to make those mistakes also, and anyone can make those mistakes. So it's very possible that someone gets a bomb thing, and, like, even if they mess up the deck by 2 or 3 cards, those 2 or 3 cards might make a difference. So
right,
it's something that, like, you got to be prepared for at the end of the day, and it's more or less you got to have the will to play with what you get and make the best of it. I'm
gonna have to start paying you, man. You're like my TCG psychiatry. You're labeled TCG psychiatrist because you're talking me off the ledge, just like you did, like, with the whole not going to the EIQs because I wasn't gonna go talk to you. So legit, I can get behind it. I can rock with it. But
outside of all that stuff, I'm excited as hell. Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
To me, I knew it was coming. But now it's like, here we are. Day of recording is November 25th. This is going to go live within a day or two anyway, so it's not like it's going to be that short of knowledge. But it's like, the fact that here we are and we are less than 2 weeks away is like, wow, that actually.
Oh shit! Is it really less than 2 weeks? Okay,
yeah. So, like, that's what I'm saying. You're just like fuck. Like, that's like next Saturday. Like, Jesus. Yeah. Like, all right, cool. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited to get there. I'm excited to see everybody. Like, it's my home city. So, like, I'm just happy. It's so, like, it's really fun for people to come visit me. It's like, like, I don't gotta get a hotel or get on a plane or anything. I just get to fucking wake up and go to play cards all day. I'm excited. I'll be very intrigued to see how many people come for the LCQs. All right, because, like, to me, and I'm saying this to anybody listening to this, if you live within 3 hours of PAX Unplugged and you play Transformers TCG, you should go to PAX Unplugged and play in the LCGs to play in the Energon. There's no excuse.
Absolutely.
Fact. That's just my opinion. I have friends that just started playing the game that are going to do that. Because, hey, why not? There's too much on the line. It's the first World Championships at the end of the day. That's what this is. It's our first Worlds. And if you like this game and you want to play this game long term, there's no way to not take those chances.
I agree.
All right, so that's number one. Come to PAX Unplugged. It's a great convention. You weren't there last year, right?
No, I was not.
All right, so I've gone the first 2 years. It's just started a couple years ago. I went 2 years ago. I didn't play a single game. I literally just went and did the convention, and it's a great convention to begin with. So on Friday, if you're queued, come to the convention and just take an hour or take 2 hours, walk the convention. It's an awesome, fun time. I know it's the day before PAX. You still want to test and stuff like that, and that's great. I'm going to be testing, but I'm still going to take in the convention because it is a really fun convention. The same thing on Sunday. Guess what? Only 8 people are going to make top 8. So it's like you're going to have that day to do what you want. So it's one of those conventions that I think if you're a gamer, if you like board games, you like card games, there's something for you to do there all day long. So it's a lot of fun. It's definitely worth coming to.
Absolutely, I agree.
But at the end of the day, we're talking competitive. You and I are some of the most competitive people in this game. After seeing Dallas, right, and you saw kind of what that top 8 looks like, how much do you think that's going to influence Philly?
Better side deck your work overtimes. And or pocket processor if you're into that type of stuff or something, so you can have a hand. It's like, no, I'm joking. That was too big. I want to hear your opinion first.
All right, I said it to you as my prediction that Shockwave and Blaster were going to be there, and I think the reason I said that is because I believe they were very portable decks into the new meta,
right?
And they had a lot of, in my opinion, just cards put into them. It's a no-brainer to play Medic in your Blaster deck. It's a no-brainer to play Hidden Fortifications in your Shockwave deck. So to me it was like, well, these are easy to build decks, and that's why I think you're going to see them do well early. Well,
right out the butt, yep.
Shocker, that was the finals yesterday.
Yeah.
So I still think you're going to see a ton of Shockwave. I still think you're going to see a ton of Blaster. But, you look at that event yesterday and you see the fringe decks. You see the combo deck that, at the end of the day, had he not been paired against Turboboard in top 8, he may have won the whole event.
Right.
He went undefeated. He didn't lose anything but Turboboard.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are still listening and still paying attention, he didn't lose to anything except for Turboboard.
Side note, Kai went undefeated too.
I know. Yeah. They drew. Right.
Good for him.
Yeah. But and he truly undefeated. He won the whole top 8. So, good. Yeah. No one's taking anything away from him. But we all know how to play against Shockwave, and we all have answers to Shockwave.
Do they though?
Maybe they don't. Who knows? I mean, that guy did 25 damage to Shockwave. He knew how to play against Shockwave.
Well, I never think about when you're doing that. So shout out to Christian. Nice work.
But
I will say though, I don't know how much of a fan I am of Shockwave mirrors 50% of my games, but something I'm gonna take into account. I'll tell you that. But it's all good. That's what happens when we talk about molding a meta. So that's what you expect.
So it's it's one of those things to me that I think at the end of the day, you got to remember there's 24 people all from the Dallas area, right? I mean, I know there's guys from San Antonio, guys from Houston that all drove out, and props to them for making the trip. I know it's not a short trip.
Minnesota.
Yeah, the guys from Matthew Young. Shout out to him. He's a really nice guy. Big shout out to him. Honestly, Gen Con weekend, he sent me a message and offered to buy me a beer when I made the statement about my aunt passing away. So that guy's a big shout out to him. He's a great dude. I'm really happy that he went and had a good time, and I can't wait to meet him in PAX, to be honest.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
And I just think that at the end of the day, you got to remember 24 people in Dallas. That's what it was. So there's 300 people qualified for Energon Invitational.
Yeah.
It's hard to say it's just going to be with it's not going to be just what this is. You're going to have. We know this. The guys from Florida in the PPG area, they're going to have their deck. The guys in Colorado, they're going to have their deck. You're going to have your deck. The guys in Philly are going to have their deck. Record Rules are going to have their deck. You're going to see a bunch of different things, and that's the exciting part is you can come up with the meta in your head all you want. You can predict it 7 ways to Sunday, but chances are you didn't think of everything, and it's it's very interesting to think like, all right, well, what's gonna what's gonna be there? What did I miss? You know, like that's the questions that like I keep asking myself within these last couple of weeks. It's like, okay, well, I have a good idea of what I want to play, and I have a good idea of what I'm good against. It's like, what did I miss? So like that'll be the first thing that will be really, really interesting to me is like just to see the field and see what is doing well throughout the day and go, nice. I didn't think about that. Like that's what I'm interested in. That's what I'm happy for.
If I lose one of my first 2 rounds, it's going to be the Triptychon. Calling it now.
No, it's not.
I hope not.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I tell you what, you lose the Triptychon, you should just go home. Okay?
Yeah, I'm not playing anymore.
You should just go home.
All of my cards are mine.
You lose the Metroplex, that's fine. You lose the Triptychon, you should go home. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's to me, I'm just excited to see really what everyone came up with because like I do believe that Siege 2 is probably the strongest set we've ever had. And that's why earlier with the Dallas thing, like, I'm amazed that you didn't see more cards. I'm amazed you didn't see more characters because the set is that good. And there are so many playable decks, in my opinion, that, like, it's so hard to just see only Shockwave and Blaster do well.
Oh, no, absolutely. I say Shockwave. I'm just obviously so biased for that deck.
Yeah.
But no, definitely between the Megatron deck, the Springer deck, we haven't seen any Sound Blaster yet. Sound Blaster's pretty good, I think. All those decks. There's so many different things to call yourself losing to. Is definitely something to be mentally prepared for, I tell you that.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but Yu-Gi-Oh! I never really got headaches when I played. Mm-hmm. This game takes so much thinking in terms of, like, what are they going to do? Like, okay, I'm going to send this character in. I'm going to do this flip. If I don't do this flip, if I don't put this grenade launcher on here and go overboard to kill this character, I may lose. There's so many things to think about. It makes my so that on top of just the stress of we talked about seal and everything is going to be big. So definitely be prepared. Bring you some water. Bring you some Tylenol.
Bring the cookies.
Bring your cookies. Bring your chips. Whatever.
Bring your protein bars. So you don't have to spend $7 in the convention hall. Steffon.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring. I'm bringing a box. It's already been decided. And my protein powder. I'm just gonna walk around with protein.
Yeah.
But
my secondary goal in the weekend is to get a picture of you without flexing. I'm gonna do it.
Picture with what?
A picture of you without you flexing. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna post it on Facebook.
Oh, absolutely not. It's not happening. We can bet on it. I'm gonna be forever known as a flex guy.
Nope. I'm gonna catch you dead heat in the middle of a match. You have no idea. I'm like, got him.
Well, if you take the picture of me and don't give me a chance to smile or anything, that's bullshit. But if I'm prepared, it's like an automatic. The bicep goes up, man.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
Speaking of that, I've been actually slacking. I've always been a fan of pictures and memories, and I feel so bad. Shout out to WTC that I did not get any pictures with any of them. Oh, I take that back. I did get a picture with Scott and Matt, but just collectively, just pictures with each team and stuff like that. People I've met and been friends with and stuff. I have no pictures.
I'm
definitely doing that at PAX.
I don't think you should slack because you know what? I think we're gonna have plenty of chances to see these guys. So
for sure. I'm just when I sit back and think, it's
I respect that. I think you got a good point, but I think I think we'll get to see them all a bunch of times. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm more excited just to look forward to the next conversation.
Agreed.
So, well, any final thoughts going into PAX?
Yes, one other thing that we're literally going all the way back.
Oh God, you suck. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I do. Daring Escape, real quick. So not just necessarily equipment enthusiasts. I forgot to ask this question. What about the red heat, putting the equipments on, swapping, doing the swap parts, not having those
changing
triggers?
The rules of the trigger? Yeah, of course.
I mean, okay, do you think it'll help us better than banning equipment enthusiasts and equipment enthusiasts stay unbanned?
Yeah, maybe. Okay. I mean, it's an abusive rule, so yeah.
Okay.
But I think if they wanted to do that, they would have did that a while ago. So I don't think they want to do that.
Copy that.
I don't think they want to change the mechanics of the game.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what? We're gonna rant off now because I feel that it's necessary just because the way you said this. I think a lot of people are giving them a lot of crap for missing these things and these banning of cards and stuff like that. If anyone wants to take a minute and just look at Magic the Gathering. They release a ban restricted list every month, okay? Mm-hmm. Last month, they just banned a card in Standard in 2 different formats that was just released a month ago. So it's definitely not unheard of for Wizards of the Coast to ban a card they just made. It can happen. And
that's encouraging.
It is, because it can happen. It can be that fast. And it happens often. It's not an uncommon thing. And the funny thing is about it, now this card that just got banned in Standard, it's not a combo-ish card. But a couple years back, it was the same thing. Like, they released this card and they're like, oh, well, this is all great and dandy, but we're going to ban the support cards. Well, guess what? 3 weeks later, you know what they did after they banned the support cards?
What?
They banned the problem card because, like, it wasn't good enough. So I think they've learned from those lessons. Especially in Magic, they don't really let things go too long in Magic, and I think that the way we are in this game, yes, we have, at the end of the day, we have the answers to Daring Escape. That's evident. It's evident. Like, it's there. It exists. You have it. You have Turbo Booster if that's what you want to do. But it just sucks from, like, a guy that, like...
Board. You said Turbo Booster, so I know
sorry, yeah, Turbo Board.
You're playing cards.
I'm not playing cars. I'm not playing cars.
No, you're playing cards. Your mind is on Turbo.
I will play cars in the LCQ on Friday if I decide to play, just to throw everyone off now. But the Turbo Board is, like... It just, in my mind, it really sucks that I gotta play that card. Like, that's just where I'm at. I'm not happy about that idea that, like, I have to restrict my own deck build, just be like, because I have to compete with this deck.
One deck against one deck.
Yeah. That's the only thing. So, yeah. Main boarding though, seriously, Joel, you got balls.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Right. But hey, I guess it paid off.
Yeah. It worked. It worked.
Definitely.
So, all right, but all in all, it was definitely awesome talking to you.
Yes.
And we'll be back here in a couple weeks after Energon talking stuff again. So.
Can't wait.
All right.
I really can't believe this shit is next week. Like, now that you say, I'm thinking it's still got about 3-ish weeks. No, it's next weekend.
No, next Saturday. We're going to be eating at the Reading Terminal on Friday.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to the Reading Terminal. Have you not been to the Reading Terminal?
Bro, no.
Oh, dude. Well, listen.
When I went for Yu-Gi-Oh! Regionals, we mentioned.
All right, cool. I'm going to blow your mind. So we're going to have fun.
Copy that.
All right. Thanks for talking, Steffon.
Hey, man. Appreciate you.
Remember, again, guys, you can always find him, DefTF, on YouTube, Steffon Pickney on Facebook. He's not a hard guy to find.
Yes, sir.